They say love is the thread that binds us together, and today we are going to weave that love into something warm and wearable. Hello everyone, I'm Kanak, and you likely know me as K from Quirks by K. I'm an architect turned crochet designer and coach. I am super excited to welcome you back to our exclusive tutorial series in collaboration with Ganga Wounds. Since Valentine's Day is just around the corner, I've designed this special little heart's hood. While it is perfect for your better half, love knows no bounds. I've included size for your best friends, the little ones, and everyone you hold dear. Let's pick up our hooks and create something from the heart. For this project, we're going to be using the beautiful Superfine Merino yarns from Heartbeats. It's incredibly soft and warm. We'll be holding two strands together. We'll need a 5 mm or 5.5 mm hook, a tape measure, and a pair of scissors. You'll begin with putting a slip knot on the hook, then start with a foundation chain. You will find the chain count provided in the free written pattern linked in the description box below. The pattern includes instructions for 5 different sizes from baby to adult. For this video, I will be demonstrating a small swatch showing steps for each row. After you've made the foundation chain, skip the first chain from the hook and start row 1 with a single crochet decrease. Yarn over, insert hook into the next chain, pull up a loop. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. This is your single crochet decrease. Don't forget to mark it. Then we will be making 1 single crochet in every chain for the entire row except the last 2 chains. In the second last and the last chain, make a single crochet decrease once again. So we have a single crochet decrease at the start and at the end of this row. Chain 1 and turn. This is the start of the second row. Once again, insert hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. This is the first single crochet decrease of this row. Don't forget to mark it. Now for the rest of the stitches, you will be making a single crochet but use only the back loops. Insert hook into the back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop and complete your single crochet. Now continue making single crochet in the back loops until you have 2 stitches left. This is what gives us that ridged textured look. Now in the last and the second last stitch, making a single crochet decrease just like we did for row number 1. Remember, for the entire row we have used back loop only, but for the decreases we've used the entire stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Row 3, 4 and 5 are to be made in the exact same way as you made row number 2. Just remember to put a single crochet decrease at the start and at the end of every row. By putting a decrease stitch on both ends of our work, we are tapering our work row by row. You can make the entire hood in a single color or play with multiple colors like I have. I'm using 3 colors from the Superfine Merino range, naturally all shades of pink because I'm making this for myself. I will show you how I change colors to avoid any overlapping colors between rows and also how I weave in the yarn tails from the previous yarn color as I go instead of weaving in everything at the end. I am not a fan of weaving in ends and I'm pretty sure neither are you. This way, you're ready with your finished project as soon as you complete your last row. No more weaving and procrastination. I will be changing colors to a darker pink for row number 6 and 7. We won't complete the last stitch of the row number 5, that is a decrease stitch, in the current color. Instead, insert your hook into the second last stitch, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the last stitch, pull up a loop. Now, bring your second color and simply pull up a loop through the 3 loops on your hook, thus completing the single crochet decrease. Now chain 2, and we won't be cutting the yarn tails just yet. Instead, turn and start your row number 6. For each of the stitches, we will be wrapping the tails within those stitches, yarn over, insert hook into the first stitch, Then bring the tails on top of the hook. Now yarn over and pull up a loop through that first stitch, thus wrapping the tails. Again, yarn over, insert hook into the second stitch. Once again, bring the tails on top of the hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop through the second stitch. Now you should have 5 loops, ideally 10 yarn loops because we are using double strands. Pull up a loop through all of them. This is your first half double crochet decrease. Naturally, we mark this also. We will also be putting a half double crochet decrease at the end of this row. Now I'm cutting the yarn tail at a 2-inch distance. So we've made a half double crochet decrease in the first 2 stitches. We'll skip the third one, and in the fourth is where we are working next, making a single crochet in the fourth stitch. So that third stitch is empty. That's where we are going to be making a puff stitch. To make the puff stitch, yarn over, insert hook into that empty third stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now stretch that loop and hold everything under the middle finger of your hook hand. Again, insert hook into the stitch, same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Every time I pull up a loop, I stretch my loops high and tight, yarn over, hold the loops with your middle finger again, insert hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. The little tug that I give makes sure that all my loops are of the same height. Now we will be pulling through all the loops on the hook except that last one. So hold the bulk with your left hand, yarn over, pull through all the loops except that last loop. Now you have 2 loops on the hook. Give a slight tug to your working yarn to push the bulk together, yarn over, pull through both loops now. This ensures that our puff stitch is anchored at the top as well. Once again, skip the next stitch, work in the stitch after that, making a single crochet. Make this stitch tighter than usual. Again, in that skipped stitch, make a puff stitch. If you are struggling with the puff stitches, we also have a tutorial explaining the minute nuances of making the puff stitches correctly to get the perfect popping texture. Link is in the description box below. Also, if you don't know how to read a pattern, don't worry. I've got you covered. As you can see in the written instructions above, there's a bracket that says skip 1, single crochet in next, puff in the skipped stitch. These are all grouped together in a bracket because all of these make a set, and this set has to be repeated across the row until you have just 2 stitches left. You must have noticed all the puffs that we are making are slanting in one direction. They make one half of the tiny little puffed hearts. Continue making the set of the single crochet and puff across this row. Now in those last 2 stitches, we'll once again make a half double crochet decrease. Yarn over, insert hook in the second last stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over again, insert hook in the last stitch and pull up a loop again. Yarn over, pull through all the loops on the hook. This completes our half double crochet decrease at the end of this row. So we have a half double crochet decrease at the end and a half double crochet decrease at the start of this row. Row number 7 is going to be made exactly as row number 6. To do this, chain 2 and turn. Now repeat the same instructions as you did for row number 6. Make a half double crochet decrease at the beginning. You will notice that one stitch looks smaller than the other. This is because the single crochet we made was tighter and the puff stitch is naturally a larger stitch. Make sure that you are picking up both loops of all the stitches. Check whether you've got pairs of 5 loops on the hook. After completing the half double crochet decrease, make sure that you mark it. I highly recommend marking both ends of every row where we are putting the decreases because you are going to be tapering the work every row. It is crucial that you don't miss a stitch. That's where a stitch marker helps. It ensures that you don't miss that last stitch when you're completing the next row. Now remember I said one of the stitches look bigger than the other. The bigger stitches is where you're going to be making the single crochet, and the tiny stitch, that's where you're going to be making the puff stitches. That stitch is actually very tiny. That ensures that our hearts have a nice sharp pointy bottom. Make sure you don't miss that stitch. Now continue making row number 7 in the same way as you did row number 6. Always making the single crochet in the larger stitch and the puff stitch in the smaller one. Since row number 6 and row number 7 are made in opposite directions, the puffs slant away from each other. This makes the heart shape. Once again, completing row number 7 with a decrease stitch, that's a half double crochet decrease. But remember, we are going to be changing the color back to the original color. So don't complete this stitch. Bring back that old yarn and pull up a loop through all the loops on your hook, thus completing the half double crochet decrease stitch. Now chain 1 and turn. Once again, making a single crochet decrease at the beginning, that's our row number 1, and single crochet across every stitch until 2 stitches are left. At the end, in those last 2 stitches, we'll once again put a single crochet decrease. We will be repeating the sequence of row number 1 to row number 7 as written in the pattern for the sides that we are making. Here I have repeated that sequence 3 times. As you can see, the lighter color shows row number 1 to 5 and the darker color, that's the puff stitch row, is row number 6 and 7. Once you have finished your row sequence repeats as per the size you're making, which is mentioned in the pattern, count the stitches on your last row. The last row is a puff stitch row, that is row number 7. Divide the number of stitches exactly in half. We will now repeat the row sequence row number 1 to 7 on each of these halves individually, meaning each half will have their own decrease stitches at both ends. This creates a V-shaped cavity in the middle, which ensures our hood sits perfectly on the head without a pointy tip. The number of stitches you will get on each half are also mentioned in the pattern for you to double check and ensure that you are on the right track. Once you've completed all the rows, all that is left to do is sewing the two halves together. Thread the yarn through a needle and start sewing the pieces together at the corner, moving towards the center. Remember, the side that you are sewing on will go inside. I have tried to demonstrate a very simple joining method using a tapestry needle. I let my needle pass through the stitch of each of the halves and then bring the needle back through the next 2 stitches on each of the halves. I follow the direction of the needle and return back from the same side. You can do this or follow a single direction for the needle to go in and come out. Now for joining the sides, I try to match the color and type of the row, meaning a single crochet row will get attached to a single crochet row and a puff stitch row will get attached to a puff stitch row. Just try to pick up one stitch on either sides and sew them together. This time I will be following one single direction of the needle, meaning I will not be returning back from the same side.
as this helps me see the stitches a little more clearly. Tie a double knot to your yarn tails to secure everything in place and weave in the ends. So once you've completed sewing the two halves together, flip your hood inside out. And your hood is all done. Here is my pink one in action and a special blue one I made for my partner for Valentine's Day. One for me, one for my Valentine. There's nothing like a handmade gift to say I love you and keep them warm.
To get this lovely blue gradient, I started with 2 strands of light blue. Midway, I swapped one of the light blues to a dark blue and ended with 2 strands of dark blue. It's a simple way to create a high-end fashion look. Whether you're making this in the shades of pink for yourself or a blue gradient for a partner, I hope this hood keeps you and your loved ones warm. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a stitch in our series. The free pattern link is in the description box below. When you finish, we would love to see your beautiful work. Don't forget to tag Ganga and Heartbeat Yarns on Instagram so we can share the love. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Until then, happy crocheting!